5:06, Leland Live, Talk 99.5. Y'all get back in here and we'll keep on doing our thing this afternoon. Stock market took a big old stanky poo today. Actually, only down 2%, but every time I see a 1,000-point drop, my eyes still come out of my head. In my mind, I'm still I'm still where the Dow was at 10,000 or something. But percentage-wise, and most of it a reaction. I was reading some market analysis. Most of it is a reaction to the lack of lowering the interest rates. The Fed board decided to leave them unchanged for the fifth time in a row today, and not directly a result of the situation in Iran, but that did play into some of the drop today because it looks like there's a widening with more nations being involved at having to deal with the Iranians. So that thing continues to be Groundhog Day as well. And just a quick note on that. Danny Knowles with the Knowles Group bringing you the show tonight. And, of course, as opposed to a talk show host that looks at the day-to-day moves as a news story, Danny is looking long-term, both in the future and into the past, because that's how you figure out where the markets are headed, where are the trend lines, how do you keep things steady. That's their job. It's what Danny's done most of his life. He's really, really good at it. All I can tell you is growing up together, he's always been a very much a straight shooter. He would say things even when they weren't supposed to be said, which I always liked about Danny. And that's what you want with your financial advisor. You want them to just be straight with you, tell you the tough stuff, get you on track, give you the sound advice so that you can move forward. It is the Knowles Group. If you're in retirement and want to see if you can get a better return, or maybe you're on the opposite end, you are behind, you know you're behind, you'd like to get on track, or get your kids involved in one of these Trump accounts where companies are just giving them money, get that money, put it in the account, contribute to it. Your kids will be millionaires when they hit their early 30s. It is the KnowlesGroup.com, N-O-L-E-S, the KnowlesGroup.com. All right, I think we'll go straight to the phones. Not many headlines today. Fauci has kind of dominated the rambunctious hearing today, which was just a lot of showboating on a lot of sides. Fauci was never going to answer any questions. He's in legal jeopardy. There were some moments that were good. Most of it was just, people acting tough. I don't know that he'll ever see repercussions. He's 85 years old. By the time they ever get around to anything, he won't be with us. But his ego took a shot today, and that may be more important to him than his own personal freedom or going to prison. But here's an interesting theory, that this whole thing today was really a setup to test the nature and the legality of the Biden pardon of Fauci. Let's try to explore that for a second, then I'll get on the phones. If you're going to test whether or not that pardon was legitimate, you need something to test it with. You need a jeopardy where there's a point of law or a situation where charges are being considered, say, for Fauci, and but you've got to settle the debate over whether you can do that based on this sort of semi-blanket pardon that he got. So this could be that setup, and his lawyers knew that, which is why he wouldn't answer a question about the color of the carpet. If you ever answer a question when you're being deposed like that, some people consider that you waiving your right in that moment to assert your Fifth Amendment privilege. You've kind of opened the door. So from the minute he walked in, other than his opening statement where he talked about Rand Paul was obsessed with him. And by the way, on that note, yeah, he's obsessed. My side calls it dedication. We like to see that in our elected officials, competence and stick-to-itness when there's been a big egregious wrong. What Fauci did and his team around him and the dupes that fell into his orbit was the most damaging thing in my lifetime to this country, period. You can't name another thing that's happened, not even 9/11. That was a shock, and it killed people in New York and on those planes. But this killed more people. You could argue that it harmed more businesses, took more lives, disrupted more things. It's almost immeasurable. The cost to the Treasury, to the inflation, to the economy, to businesses. I mean, I've gone through this speech a couple of times already. And my biggest point of the day, what I'd like to leave you with today, based on the Fauci hearing, is this. And rather than me go preach about it again for 45 minutes, I'll just say it succinctly. The biggest casualty we had in those times was our ability to ask our government questions and to push back on things that didn't make any sense to us. And some of us did, some of us kind of did. I did, and then there were times I was acquiescing too because we didn't know. We didn't know what we were dealing with at first. We all wanted to be safe. You want to protect people you love, but they were lying to us. They were making fools out of us, and they got so drunk with power, they kept grabbing power. And then when they got to shutting down churches and putting up plexiglass and telling you had to eat between bites and cover your face and all this dumb guidance and the stupid things that corporate America got caught up in because they were trusting government too, should be a lesson for all of eternity for every one of us Americans. You can't trust these people. And you should never trust these people. Always ask them questions. And anybody that comes at you, especially in the world of science or healthcare, and says you're not allowed to question or lying to you about something, because the nature of science is to question everything. It is the birthright of science. It's to constantly challenge your assumptions and improve what you think you know. Otherwise, science is dead. Fauci at one point declared himself the personification of science, the singular authority on science in this country. And he was quite the opposite. He was the guy that almost killed science. Because it'll take a decade for people to trust these bureaucratic agencies again. I mean, not the gullible people that are still walking around with masks and the poor dumb people I saw. I saw a lady one day in traffic, and at first I thought I laughed at her in my mind, and then I felt sorry for her. She was sitting at a traffic light. I talked about it on the radio that day. Over near where I live, at a red light, with a mask on, windows rolled up, by herself in a car. At first I went, what an idiot. And then I went, dang. She's been just beaten down to be compliant. That's how you lose a country, when we're just compliant, when we don't think, we can't ask. We're told to shut up and we do it. We got to buck the system at every turn. If nothing, it improves the system. If the system can defend itself and take those challenges, then maybe we're on a just course. If it can't, and it goes into shutdown mode and says, you're not allowed to ask, shut up and keep walking down the sidewalk. It sounds like a dictatorship. By the way, the people that did that to us are the people running around acting like they're protecting democracy. And by the way, the funniest line I think I've seen all day about Fauci, I saw it a little while ago. It's a very simple thought, but Fauci, who ran all over us with his advice to these agencies and just peed on the Constitution. Suddenly today, he's all about his constitutional rights, wasn't he? Suddenly, he's found a newfound reverence and love for the Constitution. I would like to assert my Fifth Amendment rights. Oh, now he's protected by the Constitution. Son of a bitch. Dan is up next. We were sharing, by the way, for those just getting in here at 5, we were sharing our ridiculous COVID stories, either things you read about or remember or had to live through during that era of obedience that they were forcing us into. We had our little obedience mask on, standing 6 feet apart like a bunch of robots. Dan, what's up, buddy?
Hey, not much, Leland. It's so hot.
How hot is it, Dan?
Oh, man, I seen a dog chasing a cat, and they were both walking and stopped 3 times for water.
AJ, I'll let you be the decision maker on whether or not that is a rim shot worthy.
It was.
Sounds kind of made up. Loaded. Yeah. The one I remember, Dan, is it's so hot, Dan. Dan, it is so hot.
How hot is it, Leland?
It's so hot I let a dog pee on my leg just to cool off.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
That's an old one.
Rim shot.
Okay, that's right. AJ's on the phone. He's not rim shotting.
No, he's on the phone.
I need my own drum set in here. Go ahead, man.
Yeah. So, Leland, we're talking about COVID, and the most ridiculous thing that I remember from COVID is they were all making us wear a mask, but I could smell a fart through a mask, so there's no way I could stop a virus.
True that. Yeah, the fart was getting in, but the COVID wasn't. Those were magic masks.
Yeah, but seriously, you were touching on a point, Leland, with your talk, man. It's the most devastating thing that ever happened to America, COVID in 2020. In my honest opinion, what I thought it was them to gauge to see how far down the stock market can go. Because everybody was sent home, the economy was pretty much absolute zero based on their 6-foot assumptions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at it, dude, there's a steep fall off to test rock bottom, bottomness, man. And I really feel like that's what it was for. And it's just blows my mind. Just how complacent people were. Like I think you're kind of born with it as well. I think some people are more you know astute to like kind of question things, which I'm one of those people. And some people just follow. I think it's something you're kind of born with, really, Leland. And I just think it's the most drastic thing that ever happened. And I wish I could say, hey, there's going to be justice for this, but they're all protected by immunity. The one person telling everybody you played earlier on the show with those people, I think it was in Philadelphia or Boston. And dude, Fauci and all his like cohorts were just getting reamed by the truest American that has ever lived to question things. And yeah, man, I really think it was about to test rock bottom, and they all knew it didn't come from a bat. It was from a lab in Wuhan.
Yeah, we knew that. We kind of knew that. And common sense told you that right out of the gate. And it wasn't just the logic of, well, there's a giant lab there where we were doing dangerous research, but it was that their defensiveness and their quickness to try to rewrite the story in every possible way, even before we got all this evidence, made a suspect in those days. Let me disagree with you a little bit, Dan, though. I don't think you're born with it. I know that's just a turn of phrase. I think it's something that's taught, and we have to keep teaching this lesson because we've got a whole generation. My generation failed. I got to be honest. I raised some pretty good boys, but that generation are very naive into the dangers of socialism and communism and wrecking our capitalist-free system, and they're buying into a lot of hype that gets people killed right now in larger numbers than I'm comfortable with, and it's the failure of my generation to teach them these things because we assumed everybody just knew that because that's how we grew up, and we failed. We've got an education effort that we've got to engage in soon before these kids learn a hard lesson, and we're going to all be dead and gone by the time the commies kill all of them. So let's get on it. Let's start teaching people.
Yeah, I'm starting teaching my daughter. She's 18 months old. I actually called the radio station when I found out I was pregnant. I don't know if you remember
that. I do remember that, man. And that was she's 18 months now?
Yeah, 18 months old, man. And look, like the only thing I'm looking forward to, the public education system, is where I don't have a bill for $1,200 a month for daycare.
Wow.
And like I'm trying to get my wife a Saturday job where all I can do is like stay at home and teach my daughter American civics, American history, world history, where I can actually teach her something she needs to know. Because our education system failed. I'm from a small town, northeast Alabama, and I actually had a really good education, which I would kind of agree with you. But there's still skeptical people, and there's still like complacent people. But education is the forefront. We need to understand where we've been to know where we're going and understand the end. Christ is King. Love you, Leland.
Hey, man, good stuff right there, Dan. And when I say education, let me make sure I'm clear. I'm not talking about K through 12 schools. I'm not talking about colleges. The university system is failing miserably. I'm not talking about formal education. I'm talking about your uncle under a shade tree cutting a knife with an apple giving you some straight advice. I mean, practical experience of getting put on your ass and having to get up. There's a lot that's called education. I'm talking about the school of hard knocks, of common sense, of decency, of holding a door for a woman and knowing your history, having a love for reading. You don't get that from schools. That's got to come from parents. You got to get that. You got to get them going on that and teach them history. If you don't know it, you're going to repeat it. That's the oldest axiom in the world. Those who fail to know their history are doomed to repeat it. There's a lot of bad stuff that's happened in human history that we would not like to see again. But if we forget it, some other group of charlatans are going to take that steaming turd and put some rainbow sprinkles on it and try to sell it to people as a snack. And these under 35 people are eating it up. They're like, yeah, Elon Musk took all that money from me. I want it back. The hell he did. Your broke ass still hasn't earned anything. Get out there and go to work. If you don't like your bills, go try to make some more money. That's the best solution. Go work harder. Start a business. Get out of the situation you're in and keep going. It's not somebody else's fault. If we don't start toughening these kids up, they're not going to make it. And I'll be all right. I'll be at the Shady Pines or under the grass by then, but it's coming fast. Andy, I'm coming to you, buddy, but I got to do this break. Hueytown Pond's got the Glocks back. Let's talk. Many of you know about the deal. These are law enforcement Glocks that were previously issued to LEs all over the country. They'll cycle them out after a couple of years and bring them in new Glocks for these agencies. And some of these nice pistols never been used, get sold off. People like Tommy Get the deal, bring them back to Birmingham, put them on sale. Very nice handguns, very nice Glocks, 399 in multiple calibers, but not many of them, and they're going to sell out like they always do. I got one last year. Glad I made that purchase. It's at Hueytown Pawn. That, the AR-15 pistols, the AR-12 shotguns, the sound suppression, the hunting stuff. Man, we're within weeks of hunting season. Really, start going over there and talking to them about all the things to get yourself rigged out for this year too. Hueytown Pawn, Brook Lane Drive. Go see Tommy and Adam and tell them I said hey. It's 524, Leland Live, Talk 995. Alabama Bass also bringing you the show this hour. Man, those guys are ready to make somebody's life better. Maybe yours, maybe your mama, maybe your dad or your grandparents, somebody aging in place where getting a shower every day becomes a challenge. Look, we're all heading there. You're lucky to live that long. Sometimes you're going to lose mobility, and it just gets scary being in that stand up shower, trying to get in and out of a tub. That's difficult. If you've ever been injured, you know what I mean. They sell a product at Alabama Bass that's a complete replacement. They tear everything out, and in 2 days, you got a brand new system that's beautiful, slip proof, shelving, handles, ergonomic, plumbing, easy to use, safer, nicer, more beautiful than what you have. and you're working with a great group of people that have been doing this for over 40 years as a company. Y'all reach out to them. Veterans, we owe you that. If you've got a service connected disability, they will help you at Alabama Bath get it worked out if the VA will offer to pay for your system. You can go look at them in person down in Pelham, or they'll come to you. It's alabamabaths.com, alabamabaths.com. Let's get Thomas in here from North Georgia. What's up, Thomas?
Oh, talking about the COVID, back in the day, of course, I was working over here at Camp Merrill in security. Of course, we still had to wear the mask and all that crazy stuff. And look, I think one of the craziest things that happened to me was when me, along with everybody else, got called into the supervisor's office, and she had to read to us verbatim a letter sent from Fort Benning, basically saying if you refuse to take the shot, you will be terminated with loss of all pension and benefits.
Yep.
And I was only a couple of years away from retirement, and thinking, okay, I've had all kind of shots in my military career, so I went ahead and did it. But still, today, I was one of the biggest regrets that I ever did. I should have took the exemption.
I did it too because
it out.
My doctor's son really had a heart-to-heart with me and wanted me to do it. He was afraid for me because he explained my age, and we'd had a death in the family, and out of respect for my son and him, I did it. I do regret it. I had a version of it that turned out didn't cause a whole lot of trouble. But when I got on the air, I would tell people, you do your own thing. But I was always skeptical of it, and I do regret it. I wish I hadn't done it, but I'm okay.
Right.
And most people are.
Same here.
But it really did have some effects on some people.
It did, and same here with me. I didn't have any side effects that I know of, but there's just the whole premise of like, you're going to fire me from my job, and of course the union, useless. Well, you've got to do it. Of course they're all Democrat backed anyway. So, but no foul, no harm for me. But I'm thinking of all the people that did have problems with that. And I knew some people that had some issues after they got this vaccine, and it's like there's no repercussions. You can't sue the government.
Yeah, and you remember how the packet in there, if you buy any drug, you buy cold medicine, they've got an encyclopedia in there with all the disclaimers.
Oh, yeah.
Because the lawyers, the packet that came, especially with the Pfizer, was blank. They didn't have to put anything in it because they had immunity from being sued if it went sideways.
Exactly.
The thing is, thanks, Thomas, I'm not even here to make a case about the effectiveness or the dangers of the drugs because a lot of that's still being learned. I am here to make the case that we should never, ever be forced by the government or an employer or anybody to inject something into your body that is completely untested. That should never happen again. And we've got to be more skeptical of these things. And I think the truth's going to slowly reveal itself. I just hope we'll learn those lessons. And what about all those military people that lost? And, by the way, cynically, they used the crisis as a tool to get after some social engineering that the left wanted. And what they did with the military, some of y'all will remember this, they didn't want MAGA supporters and Trump supporters in the military. They were getting ready to turn them into a training force and turn it into a giant therapy session rather than a fighting force. And so a way to thin them out was to fire the resistors of the vaccine because they were more inclined to be Trump supporters. And so they used it as a tool to run career experienced people off while they were promoting men in dresses to come walk around the Pentagon. That's a fact. That happened. I remember it. It's amazing. Axiom Tax Resolution Group bringing you the show tonight. And just think about it, all your money pays for this stuff. And if you don't pay up, the IRS will come after you with everything they've got. You don't want to live through that. Perry's an expert. He's probably one of the greatest experts in this country, and we're lucky to have him here in Birmingham. The way you get him is 205tax.com. That's their website. The phone number is 872-1100. Sit down, get some peace, deal with it professionally. Perry can help get you settled. This is his thing. Axiom Tax Resolution Group. 205tax.com, 872-1100. Back here in a minute after the bottom of the hour. Y'all hang on. All right, it's 5:35. Leland Live. Let's get on it. Thomas is over at Stockton Mortgage. Let's check in with him, see what's happening with him today. So the Fed left the rates unchanged, Thomas, and the markets don't like that. How are y'all dealing with it today?
Well, man, we're still closing loans. Man, we're gonna deal with it just like everybody else. We still got to close loans, and people are still going to be buying houses.
Yep.
Well, I read something this afternoon, and until gas prices and this war with Iran or the conflict or whatever it is, basically what I'm reading is gas prices and the overall inflation comes down a little bit. That's when they're going to drop rates. So basically, when this little conflict gets settled, that's when they're going to look to drop rates. So that's what the economist for NAR that I read this afternoon was.
Yep.
That was his estimation of what's going to occur.
And my take on that, Thomas, would be so there's no point in putting it off, because you don't know when it's going to happen, and those that were trying to wait on something might probably miss some opportunity.
Yeah, that's what Craig and I was talking about after that was released. It doesn't make any sense because it's kind of what comes first, chicken or the egg. I mean, I think if you go ahead and drop rates, then the sentiment across the nation, people would have more confidence in the economy, and spending would go up. So it kind of, because the real estate market as a whole turns the economy. So if they drop rates, it's going to pump more money into the economy, and lots of different things, lots of positive things can happen. So I think they should go ahead and do it for that reason. And but they don't call me ever before they go into those meetings.
Same here.
I wish they would, and I wish they would listen to me, but they do not. But
yep.
Anyway, hey, maybe they will this next month. But anyway, man, we are still loving life over here. Hey, love what we do, love helping people. And, we've got a couple more days for this month. We've got lots of people that we're helping. And one thing that I don't want everybody to forget out there is I talked about this morning in my networking meeting, love helping our service members, which is our Homes for Heroes organization that we partner with. And what that does is that a portion of all closing costs that when we close loans, we give back to those people that'd be firemen, military, police, teachers are in there, and medical personnel, and our veterans. So if we have any of those that are out there that's looking to buy or refinance, hey, give us a call. Let us get you pre-qualified or refinance. We'll give you a portion of your closing costs back at closing. So 205-859-8859 or savewithstockton.com.
Savewithstockton.com. Thank you, Thomas. There's Thomas tonight doing his thing. All right, let's go to the phones. I appreciate all the calls tonight. We'll start with Patrick, who's been on the longest. What's up, Patrick?
Hey, I just got two quick stories, and I'll let you get back to it. So I was a paramedic at the time that this come out, and I actually convinced my mother and father to take the jab because I thought it was the correct thing to do. I guess kind of funny thing about this is got a call. Both of my daughters were in middle school, and I got a call from them saying I had to come pick one of them up because there had been a contact of a student in the class that might have had it. So I went to the school, of course, couldn't go in. I said I was there to pick them both up, and they said, well, the youngest one doesn't have to go anywhere. And I said, their toothbrushes shared the same holder. What do you mean?
Yeah.
But she had not had a contact case in her room, so they weren't going to let her leave.
But because it didn't happen in the classroom, that logic went out the window, man. It was
Logic
so stupid.
went out the window. And, as a paramedic, there are people, doctors and everybody, and I know your son's one, that I would trust with any knowledge.
Yeah.
You couldn't do research you couldn't look things up because it was all what they wanted you to see.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we need to make sure that we fight. I'm glad Elon Musk has
Yep.
X now, because that can be a fair place to look. But at that time, we were believing what we were told because we couldn't question it.
Yeah, I mean, if you tried to Google, say, ivermectin to learn about the risk or the benefits, it would steer you to Colbert doing a dance about the shot. You could not find real information in that walled-off world, and we're still like that. I mean, everything on the internet steering you. If you're going to do research, you're not going to be able to trust the modern search engines. They're going to steer you to who's paid for it or where they want you to go.
That is correct. But
Yep.
I thought the toothbrush story was kind of funny because it just did not make any sense.
Oh, that's so stupid. Thank you, Patrick. That's exactly what I was talking about. We all have examples of going where if you're a logical person, you're looking at the emotional person like, we're just not the same people. Andy's on a cell phone. What's up, Andy?
Hey man, I just want to tell you, the new generation is soft as 10-ply toilet paper,
No doubt.
and I feel like it's because parents would rather be their kids' friends than their parents.
It's increasingly so, and you got to do the hard stuff. You're not there to be their buddy. You're there to train them to be adults.
Exactly. But what I called about, what is your take on the flock cameras that have sprung
Well,
up everywhere?
It's so funny you brought that up. I was noticing we had 2 officers, I think in Springville and Moody, that got turned over to state investigation for abusing them. And I'll give you a general, because we're late in the show, but I'll give you a general take on it. I'm becoming so alarmed by this. I think flock cameras are the next example of how we're allowing our freedom to be just taken under a sense of security, and it's going to be wildly abused, similar to it won't be as bad as COVID. They're not going to shut the economy down over them. But these things are not, they claim they're tag readers and it helps law enforcement. They're putting them on walking trails, outside of abortion clinics. They're putting them in certain targeted areas that are nothing but data gathering tools, and people are getting fed up with it. And a lot of folks believe it is a Fourth Amendment violation, and I think they're going to be challenged.
According to the map, the Birmingham metro area is nothing but blue dots everywhere.
Oh, yeah. And the thing is, it's just like COVID, where they're saying it's for your safety.
Yeah.
Trust us, we're not going to do anything bad with it. We've already seen people in law enforcement abusing it for personal reasons. Yep. I'd rather ride a horse and live in the woods than live in a cage like that, live in some Orwellian Big Brother cage. And that's the technology. That's the leading edge of it. You add that with the potential control that AI will have. I found a funny meme the other day. It says, remember in the Terminator when Sarah Connor was thrown in a mental asylum for destroying data centers owned by Skynet? That movie was so ahead of its time. They put her in the nut house because she was trying to warn everybody about Skynet. And if you start warning everybody about flock cameras and AI, they're going to call you a nut too. If you wanted to say, why does nobody in Africa have COVID? And the logical conclusion was because they're all on ivermectin. But if you wanted to even ask that question, you belong in the nut house too. Get in there with Sarah Connor. Come with me if you want to live. You remember that movie, AJ?
I do remember that movie.
That was before Schwarzenegger turned into a giant douchebag.
I mean, he was probably already one.
Yeah, that's true. Now I'm just calling him one because he's not standing right here. I don't know. I think he's getting old. I could probably whoop Schwarzenegger's ass. I'm kidding. I had trouble doing sit-ups today. I'm not even. Douglas Cooling and Heating, man. This is my heating and air company. Y'all, this is just an honest company. And I mean, these guys aren't in the flim-flam business. They're there to fix it if it can be fixed. And if it can't, they give you your options in writing. They publish their prices up front. They don't believe in surprises. They're trying to keep you in the cool, but your costs down, because they believe that's the way to build a reputation with you, that when you do need an install, when it is time, you're going to call them first because you trusted them before. That's honest. That's how you stay around since 1972 as a business. That's a long time. It's Douglas Cooling and Heating. Easy to get them over to your house. Call Douglas.com. Y'all, do the maintenance. Do all those things you have to do. and it'll help you with your system in the long run. And they can help squeeze some more life out of it, they will. But if it's time for a replacement, they're just the best in the business. They'll come out this year and add a little capacity to my space as well. CallDouglas.com. I've been with them for 17 years. I trust them. CallDouglas.com, license number 2017181. Quick break. Back in a minute. Leland Live. All right, y'all, 10 minutes before the hour while we are just getting on done with the afternoon. I appreciate y'all hanging in here with us. It's been a wild week already. Let's talk about distinctive pools, man. It was a little cooler today, but we've still got a solid 8 weeks of hot weather left. And even in the fall, if you build the pool right with distinctive pools, because they can do a whole outdoor living project, not just the hole in the ground with the diving board or the fence around it. They're not just a pool company, and it's the hardscape stuff and the tie-in features that really make it all work, because then you've got an outdoor living space where you can hang out by the fire, put the ball game on, put your pizza in the pizza oven they can build for you, and you get your pool right there. Even in the fall, when it's later in the year, usually we would cover those things up in October. Even today's pool designs, they've got electronic covers. You used to have to go out there and wrestle to cover them up. Hit a button, pool's covered. If you want to open it up during the winter to get a little, open it back up. The lighting packages are amazing. The hardscape features, it's everything. This is an experienced company, decades and decades of experience, including Gary Levesque, the owner, who's 40 plus years in the business. Go with experience, go with quality, go with good design, and let them help you get financed too. It's distinctivepools.com, distinctivepools.com. Let's do some more phone calls. Oh, I hadn't got to the sandwich store yet. I'll get to that here in a minute. Billy is on a cell phone. What's up, Billy?
Leland, did you get a Star ID?
I did.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm a big believer in history, and there was a government that made its citizens get a star one time.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out too well for them.
That came up on the show. The difference is, of course, the star in Nazi Germany was to ostracize people. This Star ID is to qualify you for a security measure, and there's nothing invasive about it. It's the same material that you would be asked for. Basically, you just go and prove your citizenship and identity in a way that saves you a step at the airports, and I think it's a good idea. It was easy for me to do. Some people waited too late because, I'm for voter ID, so I'm for showing an ID to get on a plane too.
Well, you have to show your ID anyways before the star, right?
Yeah, but there's a lot of fake IDs, especially with the Biden administration letting, millions of people in here. And states started handing out driver's license like henna tattoos. And so the licenses don't mean as much. In this way, the license has a little more validity because you've added additional identification documents to get that star so that it's more legit at the airport than having to bring a passport too.
Well, did they have to pick a star?
Yeah, I know. I would say
circle.
It's a gold star too, by the way. I will agree with you on that. But I did it because there was a panic about it because they kept telling you, you're not going to be able to get on a plane. And at the time, my kid lived in New York, and I never knew when I was going to have to just go. And so I did it, and then they put it off because they couldn't get their crap together. And then they finally started enforcing it, and some people still hadn't been able to get in there and get it done.
I hadn't got one. I'll just walk or drive.
Yeah, well, compared to going through the anal exam that is an airport nowadays, I think you probably got a good plan.
All right, man.
All right, thank you, Billy. Like my son that was in New York, he just moved to Chicago, and that makes it, to me, that's drivable. I could get, what is it, AJ, 13 hours to Chicago, 11, something like that?
Something like that, depending.
I could handle that. Sometimes, by the time I drove to the airport and checked in and waited around and got my, Chicago's an easy flight, but I would drive up there. Sometimes it's preferable. Henry's in Winston County. What's up, Henry?
Free state thereof. Hey, Leland.
Yeah.
Did you see that one chart? Well, first, when Fauci read his opening statement, what an arrogant son of a gun this man is.
Oh yeah.
And his shifty eyes. I do not like a man who has eyes so close together that his nose barely separates them. They're shifty, and he's a shifty shiffer, like Adam Schiff. It reminds me, Adam Schiff must be taking some medicine to keep those eyes from bulging these days because he's starting to look like a normal human being, sorry to say. But there was a chart, and it had the deaths from the shot was 7,000 a year. Remdesivir, it was 546 a year. Ivermectin, I think it was 7 a year. And then Tylenol, 742. Hydrochloroquine, 142, and I got a giggle at it, and I hate that I laughed at it. But Remdesivir, the one guy, I don't know if Josh Hawley or somebody might have said it. He said, "Run, death is near," and that's what the nurses would say about when they administered Remdesivir. So people knew what was going on. I don't believe that Jonathan Gruber was correct in his statement. If it wasn't for the stupidity of the American people, Obamacare couldn't have been passed. Which, everybody that knew, especially Republicans, knew what was going on. None of them voted for it, thank goodness. And we were well aware of we weren't going to be able to keep our doctor. And it really bothers me that the Democrats have taken so much of our health care away from us and from our hands, including the prices.
Well, Henry, as usual, you will say something sometimes that gets my wheels turning, and I hadn't connected the dots in this way, but let me throw in there. The Obamacare vote was the beginning of the weaponization of our health care against us. That was the first vote it's the same thing they did with the student loans. When the student loans, they took over it with the federal government, pushed the private sector out, and then it was a money funneling operation to the universities. The kids got crap education and multi-thousand-dollar loan bills.
Yeah.
But the government goes and gets itself involved in that, and it has screwed up all of education. And their interference in the healthcare markets never made anything cheaper. It didn't do anything but create confusion. And it was the beginning of them getting a stranglehold over your choices to go get the kind of healthcare you want at a competitive way. And then they come along with COVID not too long after that to try to use the cloak of the white coat and the doctors and the science and health and your interest against you. And it's not a stretch to throw things like the Patriot Act and flock cameras and everything else into that mix too.
Which they're trying to do the FISA court again. And the Republicans, for some, God help them, reason want this FISA court 702s back again, and they're asking the Democrats to go along with them.
Oh yeah,
and I don't get it. And why can't we get rid of that? You got to remember, Obama.
Here's why, Henry. The CIA comes in there in these closed door meetings and skiffs and scares the hell out of them, because the CIA wants this tool for other things as well, and they'll go in there and just freak out the Republicans and act like there's something imminent. And if they don't have these tools, that we're all going to get shot. Nobody wants that on their hands, so they'll go and cave into it.
They're probably categorized for each district, for each Republican.
Yes.
So that's going to happen in my city. So of course they'll vote then. And if you know why, you got my wheels turning too. You know, a communist. You know what their favorite action is to create a problem or ruin something, burn it down, then come in and say, I'm your helper. I'm going to help you. I'm going to save you. You don't have to worry about nothing. Just give me the power over you to be able to do this. And Henry, I'm going to take away your health care so I can fix your health care.
Good stuff tonight, Henry. I got a boogie, man. The show is over.
You're the best.
Thank you, buddy. Lonnie's Furniture Company, one more time for them. I'm looking forward to our visit this month. We're going to get that all set up, and I'll tell you about it. We'll get to go do a show up there, and it's always fun to see the gang up there. I need some stuff anyway, so maybe a good shopping opportunity for me. In the meantime, deals all over the place, and Reggie reached out. They've got the best financing deal they've ever had. It's 48 months, interest-free. How about that? You got to qualify with good credit, and you got to pay your bills on time. There's a minimal amount. I think it's $19.99 or something. That's a nice couch, right? So get in there and take advantage of that and get all the furniture you need and have them bring it all the way to you. It's the most quality you're going to find in one place anywhere in the Southeast. An acre of furniture in that tiny little town called Kimberly, Alabama. Y'all, it is LaniusFurnitureCompany.com. LAUNIUS, LaniusFurnitureCompany.com. Stay tuned for Breaking Bread. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Goodbye, AJ.